Alright guys, it's time to play some Starcrafts. How are you doing, Zed?
Yeah, I'm great, and it's another really, I would say, a really close TVZ on our screen. So that's, as I said, quite a lot of Terran players today.
Yeah, so let's introduce the ones that we have on the screen right now spawning as the red Terran. On the bottom left side of the map, we have SCS Turuk.
At the bottom right location, the blue Zerg, who is quite possibly one of the better Zerg players in Poland. But the thing is, he's really original, I'd say. Dignitas Tefel, and well, when I watch Tefel, I'm really interested and scared at the same time. Interested because he's a great player. He has some interesting strategy to show,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I'm really worried about him in terms of predictability and originality sometimes. So
Well, but
it's
then
really
if
stressing.
he's playing against players who haven't met him earlier or haven't played with him so much, then people like Turk, I imagine, wouldn't know about his always go 14 pool.
Yeah, Tefel and his 14 pool is like, Bonnie and Clyde or something like that. At the same time, he goes for the hatchery in the natural. So this is quite normal for the Zerg player to expand quickly. Turuk, on the other hand, is going to go for the one rax expand again. Something you see from the Terran players all the time against Zerg. If I can mention Lucifer, he even goes for like 15, 14 CC against Zerg quite often in his games, and I really like that because I believe there's if your opponent goes for the 15 hatch, why not go for the 15 CC? It's really nice.
And also something just happened that we discussed earlier, that that Tefel just didn't scout with any workers, so he has a little bit of extra income, and everything that you gain when your drones are nibbling at these minerals is great, and he will get all the scouting information he needs from just using overlords, and he will of course lose one of them, I'm sure, two of them perhaps. But he will be able to scout the gas timings, and that should tell him pretty much everything.
Yeah, the gas timings are quite important. I would say that they are not something to ignore. But let's see what the players are going to do, because right now Tefel is basically trying to saturate his mineralized, building more drones. He already has 2 queens, and there's the third one on the way. Additional queens. In my opinion, are really important.
Yeah, they recently became
mm-hmm.
a standard, really, when the queen range upgrade came into the patch. Just doing more queens overtook building defensive spine crawlers early on.
Yeah, well, the thing is that not only queens are great, defense-wise against, say, Hellions or something like that, or some early marine aggression. They can also spread creep, and this is super important. They can also contribute to anti-air defense when there's some banshees.
By the way, do you see what's happening in the Terran's base? We have barracks building a tech lab, and next to it is a starport.
Yeah, so this is something that we see often from the Terran players. Hellions and Banshees synergize quite nicely, and I really like how Terran players attack queens with Banshees and then with the Hellions, to soften them up a bit. That's really great, and at the same time I really like how Zerg players try to counter this strategy, with a few additional queens and with Roach Warren. This is really great for some defensive capabilities of the Zerg against this type of play.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So, by the way, I just remembered, do you recall the game, I think it was Dystar against Nurture on Intel Extreme Masters, Katowice, where Dystar went a crazy strategy where he only took 3 gases, but he went 4 starports making Banshees, so the Overlord that was scouting for the gas timings only saw... Ooh,
Yeah,
Helions,
that's...
yeah, Helions in the mineral line, so many lost now,
Oh.
9 workers already. The queens are not up to par for so many Helions. And oh my god, 15 workers killed for the Terran. That's not very good for our Blue Zerg here.
Yeah, I think that this is a direct problem for the Zerg players everywhere because they grew lax with defenses.
Yeah.
You know, and the Terran players see that. They see that there's no wall, that the additional queens don't really contribute to the defense as much as they should, that there's no early roaches in great numbers, that there's no early metabolic boost, so they just go, you know, they just go straight into the mineral line. If there's an opportunity, your opponent will take it, so you better have some defense.
People like TLO, I think, are building a wall basically in front of their base to protect from that kind of attacks, and that they block the choke point with a single queen, and that's enough. That's enough to hold off an aggression. If Tefel would have done that, he wouldn't have lost the queens. Oh my god, the Helios are in the line again. Oh, such a nice Q. Who wants to get roasted today? And it seems a lot of people, 21 workers lost for Tefel, and a Zerg player right now is in a lot of trouble, especially concerning the fact that a Banshee is on his way without a cloak. That's worth to mention. 2 Banshees, in fact, below the Terrans, sorry, the third base of the Zerg. But Banshees nonetheless. It will be quite tough for the Zerg to defend.
Yeah, the second Hellion attack didn't really deal as much damage as the first one, but there we go. The Banshees in the mineral line. When you have 2 Banshees, you can just one-shot drones, and you don't really have to retreat as soon as with 1 Banshee when the queens attack you, because you have twice the HP, so you can just move one of them back and then continue attacking with the second one. And there's always a few additional drones that you can destroy. Tefel complaining about lag, but I don't feel anything, so well, maybe it's on his side. And Turuk already with a few tanks. They are quite nicely positioned. As there's a lot of roaches though, so I'm kind of wondering if Tefel doesn't have a chance over here, but he's going to retreat. Yeah, these tanks. Oh, great pick off over there with the siege tank on the high ground. That was really not as far away.
Yeah, a free kill, and the siege tanks are not not cluttered, so he could easily get that pick. Now this bunker only has 2 marines, and the wall is very weak. The roaches break in, the roach approach, as you always call it. My god, it is dealing so much damage, and a very nice counter strike from Tefel here. I think that Turuk will need to retreat his workers at least for some time. The Banshees are back, and they will be priceless in the defensive means, but still, let's see how many workers has he lost. 9 workers for a turn, that's not too bad, but considering the fact that he may lose a couple more, and he is not able to take a third right now, this is pretty huge.
Yeah, the thing about this attack is not only that, you know, Tefel dealt some damage, which was not really that amazing concerning the mineral line, is that he conceived this attack, and then he really did some hardcore droning. You know, he has 72 drones against 50 SCVs, and that's a huge lead over there. And it seems that I don't really feel any lag, but then...
Give us a second, guys. I'm writing to Tefel right now to clarify this. I think he has a problem with his PC. I don't feel any lags. You don't. So it seems that Tefel has a problem here.
Yeah, it's really weird because he says he can't really plant a creep tumor. So that's really weird. But at the same time, he's building 2 additional hatcheries. This attack was really a success in my opinion. Turuk is going to try and establish an expansion. But at the same time, I see Tefel as the player that has a clear advantage right now.
I think I see the Tefel as a player who downloads lots of porn when he's playing tournaments online. Well,
So
you-
BM. So BM.
yeah, sorry, I had to do it. I mean, we don't have any lags, and the opponent neither has one, so it seems that the problem is with Tefel. But hey, nothing we can do about it really. So anyway, we have checked our connection. But let's skip the technicalities. Yeah, let's go into the game. So what we have right now, Tefel moving out with his army. He may look for some opportunities. I am just wondering out loud right now, would a drop play at this point be awesome? Because what we see is the back of Turuk's base not very protected. Of course, Tefel is not going for any drop-based play, but I think it could be effective in this situation.
I'm really wondering because right now, well, Turuk goes for the mech. A mech is not really as mobile as bio armies, and you don't really drop with mech or do any stuff like that. And I'm wondering as to how Tefel is going to try and approach that. He probably wants to build a lot more roaches than he has right now. He obviously goes for a lot of Zerglings because that's how he plays. And he's already at 5 bases. He has massive amounts of gas being mined. He's at 1100 gas against 700 from the Terran player mine right now. So that's a great advantage. He's gonna try and
the issue you face when you get spread out so much is you need to be careful about run-bys and about drops, because that becomes a real problem. When you have so many bases, he can just attack you anywhere on the map. And I'm not trying to play the Captain Obvious right now, but when you're spread out so thinly, then you need to be extra careful. You need to have a Spore Crawler and a Spine Crawler at every base pretty much if you want to be more or less safe.
Yeah, or you have to have a great map control.
A spidey sense, really.
Yeah, to see what your opponent is doing. And right now, Tefel's gonna try and do a huge run by and a huge attack into the third base. And this actually could be quite devastating for Turuk, because he only has a skeleton crew right there. And as you can see, the siege tank centaurs are not really that mobile. So
and how many workers have been killed in that attack? Oh, around 20, very bad. And again, Turuk's base may get cancelled right now, or he will be forced for a liftoff. Yeah,
there we go.
The gas will be cancelled, and also the missile turret destroyed. So Tefel is just picking his opponent piece by piece right now. A very good strategy for the late game Zerg, and he is not, as you see, well, he was not using its 70-minute mark, and he still hasn't have any Broodlords or Corruptors on the map. Oh, sorry, he has Corruptors now. 12 Broodlords morphing. Sorry, I missed that. But he has shown how can you fight with a Terran, a late game Terran, without Broodlords.
Yeah, but he does a great job with utilizing his army and the positioning. He destroyed a command center that was being built. He forced a lift off of the middle expansion, so it doesn't morph into a planetary fortress. It doesn't give a great final on the Hellions. Really great this time, because the Hellions rely on mobility, and it's been that was a great final right there.
Yeah, a very nice pick.
I want to just point out that Turuk has 8 Tors, but he only has 3 siege tanks. So his siege tank line is basically non-existent. Not that it matters when fighting with Broodlords.
And the attack incoming, the huge engagement in front of us, guys. Let's see what happens. The Tors are so mighty, and oh my god, the fungal on the Vikings, that will render them useless. Will there be another? No! He doesn't have enough energy for other. He used all of that for Hellions now. Also, the Broodlords are getting picked off by both the Tors and Vikings. A devastating attack, but both sides suffer from heavy losses. What will be the outcome? I feel that the Vikings will turn the tables here on Tefel, and I'm sorry, but the Terran has prevailed.
Yeah, but he's getting attacked at the third base. Tefel is remaxing on a lot of units, building Zerglings, Corruptors, Infestors, so he's basically way better off than his Terran opponent. And Turuk is basically in a ditch right now.
And
he's seriously in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it just looks like a mountain stream. you know, the units keep streaming from Tefel's base. He's so powerful right now with so many bases around the map. Turuk wasn't expansive enough, or he wasn't punishing enough, or Tefel was just awesome at defending anyway. It just seemed that the odds are in favor of Tefel right now.
Yeah, this looks like the GG. Basically, Turuk is on 3 bases. He has his mineral line in the 3rd base decimated. Tefel destroyed 51 SCVs, so that's quite a lot. And Turuk has no means of defending this attack, even though there's only Zerglings over here, and Zerglings right now for Tefel are like, you know, food stamps, free money, free food basically. You know, there's
exactly.
no. He can just throw Zerglings at his opponent, and even if they get destroyed, he can just rebuild them.
But the thing you need to be careful about is if you throw too many Zerglings, then you have just lost a lot of larvae. So you need to be spot on with your injects to have a backlog of larvae waiting for the next supply waves. Otherwise, you may say, oh, I have such a huge bank, I can afford anything, and throw that at the enemy. Let's see how it flies. And after that, you end up, oh my god, I don't have larvae for my production. Where should I go now? Does anyone have to borrow a larva? No, they don't, so you're screwed at that point. So Turuk right now, he tried to put down planetary, I believe, but didn't manage to for the 3rd time in a row. And a huge attack. Will there be a big fungal growth on the torch? No, there is none. And the fungals are on the Vikings, all Vikings in the same spot. A very nice fungal that picks all of them around. Now the question is, will there be enough broodlords? Yes, there are. And we have G and GGG from Tefel. And it seems our Terran is at trouble. Very nice play by Tefel. I must say, I am very impressed.
Yeah, at the first big fight, Tefel lacked some fungals, but you know, the thing is that he could just remax, and he was at the superior position. Even before the fight, he was at the better position than his opponent. So, and it paid off. This great economy paid off for him in the long run.
By the way, I have information from another player, Zazu. He also has lags, so it seems to be an universal problem with Battle.net today. And recently there have been problems with the logins, because I'm not sure if you're aware, but the global play just went live. If you want, you can go and take your account and go play on Korean servers if you're ambitious. If you're not ambitious, you can go and play on the American servers, because everyone has a joke about that going. Sorry. I haven't tried American server. Anyway, let's get out of this awkward point in conversation, and let me say I invite you to stay online and stay watching. We'll be back after a very short commercial break, right to the next game. Dum, dum, dum. Alright guys, let's get on with the next game. Tefel showing us some amazing tricks up his sleeve in the first game. Let's see how he does in the second one. Will he manage to pull that off on the GSL Whirlwind map? I think it's the first time we're casting on this today, and by the way, it's one of my favorite maps. Such a great games you can find here.
I really like Whirlwind as a map and as a direction that map making is taking. So I hope we see more maps like that. And that's obviously my personal opinion. A lot of people are not liking this map. So
Why is that?
yeah, it's kind of interesting because a lot of players don't really like the macro mode that is that has that this map is showing.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I wanted to say I wouldn't necessarily agree with that, but well, yeah, I understand that this map can see macro mode, a bit, but then what it also gives is great possibilities for proxy racks play, and I have saw that a lot. You just need to be very smart about where you hide your proxy racks.
yeah. Well, actually, I don't think that proxy racks is viable on Whirlwind.
Why?
I'd say it's too
Isn't this
big.
cross spot only?
No, it's not. It's not. That's the thing. You can spawn in every single position imaginable. It's like Whirlwind is like Kama Sutra of StarCraft 2. You have so
Alright,
many
sorry.
positions. Yeah, have so many positions. It's unbelievable. So Turuk going for one racks, but with the refinery, and that's really not something that I was expecting because
And did he go for the refinery before the racks or after?
I think that was even before the racks.
If it's before the racks, then he may go
No,
for
actually it
helium
wasn't.
drops.
It wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't
It was
before the
no,
racks.
there's not enough gas. So if he would have gone for refinery before the racks, then a very viable option would be a helium drop. If not, then we'll probably see some standard. What do we have here? Ooh, a very fast factory with still no expansion and not enough resources for one. So, will we see some form of old style factory expand, or will this be something completely out of the blue?
You know, I'm really curious as to what Turuk wants to do because there's a factory, there's no second refinery, so I wouldn't say that this is going to be Cloak Banshees. Tefel is expanding, and this is really a macro map. So Turuk's choice of an opening is really not something that I've expected, and it's probably not going to be something that Tefel is going to expect.
It's a starport and a helion.
Yeah,
Alright,
it's
anyway,
probably
a
gonna-
very good point done by someone on the chat is Viconisco. I'm not sure I read your nickname correctly. He says that Terrans don't like this map because it's so easy to surround the Terrans army on Whirlwind, and that's true. There's a huge space around the middle. There are not too many bottlenecks. There are not too many places where you can hide your army or try to move next to the walls. It's so easy to pick you off.
I wouldn't agree entirely. I agree on the middle. That it's really open and you can get surrounded, but at the same time you really have a lot of nooks and crannies and crevices and ramps and stuff like that to get some amazing positioning. But to focus on the game, Turuk is going to try and do a helium drop, and this could catch Tefel unawares because on a big map such as this, Tefel would rather. Well, he could probably assume that his opponent is expanding, and this is more reinforced by the fact that Tefel has sent some Zerglings, and there were some Marines over there. He didn't see anything that was in the natural.
Yeah, he didn't check the natural, so he's assuming he's just waiting with the overload there to check for the gas timings, but he didn't check that in fact an expansion was there. So right now he's assuming that something different is happening, and this elevator with Helions and Marines may work so sweet, especially on a map like this. I'm just eager to see what happens. It's going to be awesome.
At the same time, I'm kind of wondering if Tefel is making a bad decision with the second expansion, because Hellions cannot really attack that and deal some significant damage, but the Marines can, and I'm really wondering what is going to happen, because Tefel doesn't really have any means of defense. He has 2 Zerglings and he's only now building 6 roaches, and that's it. he doesn't really have anything to defend, and the Hellions are going to get dropped into the main too, so this is actually a very tense moment for Tefel.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Oh my god, and Tefel sees that. He uses the inject on the Queen as the last resort. That's the last thing that Queen did in life. A very sad story indeed. Now Turuk is getting a very nice run. My god, Tefel is just defending this so well. He could have lost most of his workers. He has lost only 10 at this point, but I'm afraid he doesn't have enough forces to defend this with. And all the Marines got picked off. All the Hellions got picked off as well. So let's see, 15 workers killed in this attack. Not so bad for a Hellion drop.
Yeah, but at the same time,
and there's a Banshee.
Tefel has 30 right now, 40 drones against 31 SCVs on one base for Turuk, who's only now finishing a second orbital command and is building a third command center. So that's, in my opinion, that's a good thing for Tefel. He loses,
Queen gets picked off. Yeah.
He loses the queens, but I'd say that Tefel is not in a bad spot. If he defends right now, if he gets his triple base going, I would say he's going to be in a good position.
Yeah, this always happens with the Zerg. You know, you may think, oh my god, I have lost so many workers right now and I'm not going to win this. And this is where you kind of kill yourself, because your brain just tells you, oh my god, you're losing. While in fact you are not, because every attack of that sort has a cost. And the cost in case of Turuk's play was just this delayed, massively delayed expansion that he is just right now landing. But besides that, you know, a couple of queens picked off. That's a nice trade, always a nice trade for the Banshees. But question is, will that be enough? 3 queens killed right now for the Terran. A nice score, I would say.
Yeah, he's dealing a lot of damage with the Banshees. I would say more damage than he should have been dealing. The Banshee is gonna run away with 5 HP, and if not for the inject, I'd say that Tefel had a fighting chance in destroying this Banshee, and it's gonna retreat, get repaired, and come back with more annoyance.
That's
and
the second Banshee that gets off with 5 health points. These 2 Banshees are the exact Banshees that took part in the Heart of the Swarm trailer. I can tell you, they look exactly like the twins that
Where's the Viking?
Yeah, where's the Viking? Where's the horny guy in the Viking that wants to impress the ladies?
Yeah. So right now Tefel with some roaches, quite a few zerglings. He's going for the infestation pit. There's some upgrades going on, and obviously Turuk is gonna go for the mech. He's quite heavy on the Banshees, and again, that could catch Tefel unaware of what's going on.
Yeah,
you know, Tefel. If I can just say one more thing, Tefel could expect, Tefel could expect a bio army. He could expect mech army from Turuk, but I don't think he's going to be expecting that 4 Banshees are going to assault his third base.
And because what most players do is just optimize on the Banshees, and they make 1 or 2, because that's some damage you can deal, but then they transition. And people have just got used to that so much that they don't check if the transition really happened. And in a case like this, where the transition didn't happen, we have 4 full health Banshees. On the way, the Queen will get instantly picked off, and there's not much, there's not too many things that could fight off the Banshees from the Tefel's base.
Yeah, the Banshees are basically wreaking havoc in the third base. The drones, well, the remaining drones that survived were evacuated, but there's basically no anti-air, and this hatchery is gonna get picked off. You know, there's a reason for which Banshees are called Flying Dark Templar. And it's because they deal insane amount of damage and can cloak.
And 4 Banshees is just enough what you need for such an extreme form of harassment. Now, what Tefel could do or could, he could feel like obliged to doing is go with a counter-attack. But that's exactly what Turuk is hoping for. If you look at his base, he has a line of siege tanks prepared. There is nothing that can stop him at this point. Oh, a beautiful fungal on the Banshees, but they are still alive, and there is not enough energy for another Banshee. Another fungal, and both of the investors go down. Oh, a very tough spot for the Zerg player right now, and
yeah,
even more investors get picked off. Not a very good spot.
Yeah, he's gonna pick off every single banshee except for one. There we go. There's the Fangal. But these banshees have dealt way more damage than they should have
And
in
we
this
have
phase
the
of the game.
Viking. If you take a look at my point of view, there's the late Viking.
Yeah, he's like, where's the chicks?
Where are the
Like,
chicks?
dude.
I saw some
where's
boobs on the
party?
horizon. My
Yeah.
boob-o-meter showed me that I should go this direction, but I don't see any banshee twins here.
Yeah, he's like the forever lone Viking. Seriously. But anyway.
You will fly alone this evening. I'm sorry, my friend.
There was an well, kind of an attack on the third base of the Terran that's not existent. Turuk is really well defended in the natural. He's going for the mech, and you know, there's quite a lot of upgrades going on, and this third base was a huge loss for Tefel. I really
and Tefel lagging. Oh.
Are you serious? Today is a bad day to play.
Today is not the day to play on Battle.net, my friends.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, basically, you know, after the global play going live, I just think that the Battle.net servers can be having a hard time. I imagine a lot of people, because the changes haven't been announced publicly, they didn't say, oh, you can play anywhere you want now, just log with your account. Some people on Reddit discovered that. And right now I can imagine lots of people just trying to create accounts on different servers, and that's what can that's something that could be causing the commotion. What my friends told me recently, and I just laughed at that, is there are always people on the internet checking for things. Did you notice that?
Like checking for things in regards to
for random things. I mean, if all of a sudden in one of the files in Starcraft 2 there would be a line saying tits, someone would discover that in a matter of days.
It's kind of oh, Tefel's back.
Oh, we're back.
Oh, there we go. I kind of didn't expect that to happen.
Oh, some rough language.
Tefel.
Watch out your tongue, young man. But anyway, you know, people just discover things that you wouldn't even have thought about checking. How often do you check to log in to a North America account with your regular one? You don't do that, but someone had to do it in order to notice it. That's my point. People always check for random stuff.
Yeah. It seems that Tefel's ready to go, and oh,
fly
there we
off,
go.
my friend, fly away.
The game's gonna get resumed. Tefel's probably gonna try and attack the third base of his opponent. That's being established right now. A great little attack. There's a planetary fortress in production, so he's gonna have to cancel that, lose a few minerals and gas, and you know that the mech is not as mobile as the Bio Army to defend against that in a timely manner. So Turuk has to scramble and, you know, move his army, and it also gives Tefel time to rebuild, to create the greater spire, get some broodlords going on. And I would say that broodlords are really not as good of a choice on this map as I'd say.
That's something I was about to say. Yeah. Could you explain why to our viewers?
Well, basically, the map is huge. Broodlords are fat asses, and they move really slow. So basically, Broodlords suffer from the same kind of problem that mech does. It's really not that mobile, so moving on a huge map from one point to another takes a lot of time.
And also, when you engage armies, is your Zerglings, Roaches, and Infestors, they are all fast units, and they will be able to retreat easily. But you will lose your broodlords, man. You will leave them behind because there's no option of how they could go back home. Now there seems to be an engagement somewhere up in the air. Yes, a very nice fungal, but he needs to be careful about where he keeps his infestors. And he tries to run off, fend off, hides in the bushes, tries to fire off another fungal. A very beautiful play here by Tefel. He seems like the finalist to me at this point in time. And another fungal catching a lot of Terran units again. He's just waiting until the broodlords come on, because that's the point where he will have enough stuff to defend. A lot of roaches on the way and some zerglings. What do you think will happen?
I really like the timing on this attack. Turuk's trying to get in just before the Broodlords, and since he already had like 160, 170 supply, that's a really great timing and a nice army strength from him, especially that he has +2 attack. I really like that. And there we go, a lot of invested turrets, a lot of roaches, nice army positioning from Tefel is probably gonna grant him a win in this engagement. And there we go, siege tanks really slow.
The question is, what will be the outcome of the whole war, so to say, in this case? Terran has just lost a lot of army. Let's check army supply. 105 against 50. So Tefel is leading on with this game. He needs to be careful. There's a planetary fortress, but he should be able to clear it off with the roaches. And a single splat with 2 infested Terrans to check if there are any siege tanks. Very nice play. Against surrounding siege tank with infested Terrans, that's great. And that's exactly how a Zerg should be playing. And as you can see, you don't need tons and tons of Broodlords. You can just play very effectively with Infestor Roach.
Yeah, I really like how the Broodlords arrived at the third base of the Terran player just as the fight is over, and basically the game is over too. And that's kind of confirming how, you know, Broodlords are so slow on the huge maps that they don't really are relevant anymore. So there's a lot of Vikings, but I would say that Tefel just need to reinforce with a lot of roaches, with a lot of Zerging, destroy this third base, and he's going to have his victory in his pocket, because there's no way
he could have used in this game is probably some Banelings to go alongside with the Roach Infestor army. Like you said, the Broodlords are not very useful, and Banelings are extremely useful where you have a planetary fortress with SCVs repairing.
And well, it's 4 base against 3 base. Tefel has a lot more army supply, so he can just trade his army.
Just storms in,
and it's gonna be even if he trades, you know, 1 for 1, it's really gonna benefit him, because his opponent can afford to lose any more units, and especially can afford to lose any more SCVs. He already lost 23 and has 36 against 88 drones. I'm kind of starting to wonder if Tefel shouldn't be losing a few drones, like 15-20 drones, just to free up supplies to get more army.
Yeah, at this point he may so. He has nice saturation all over the bases. He has enough bases, so he could do that. But then again, he doesn't have such a huge bank. My bet is he'll just try to finish off the game with this push, and he doesn't want to risk it.
So right now Tefel's probably gonna well, maybe not destroy this army, because I really like how Turuk is targeting the infestors. That's really great from him, but at the same time he's just getting destroyed by the Zerglings, and this is not really a great trade from Turuk. On top of that, he's really well behind. He can't really establish his 4th command center. There's a lot of creep in his 3rd base, so you know there's a highway for Tefel to walk on to get some much needed reinforcements. I believe that Tefel could really establish a 5th and a 6th base without any problems.
Yeah, I think he's anxious to get to the finals. This is a semi-final, if I'm not mistaken, and he's really anxious to get to the finals. And he's like a shark, man. He feels blood in the water, so he goes for the kill. But you know, in case of a Terran, killing off may be difficult. Even if Terran is bleeding, he still can put up a very hard fight.
So right now, well, there's an attack on the 3rd base. Terran's army is vastly out of position, so there's no way in hell that he's going to be able to defend this. Zerglings are trying to attack, but they are not needed in this engagement, and Vikings fighting it.
But the infestor's so close to the planetary fortress, but no focus on the fortress. And right now, just a huge Zergling and fungal mass surrounding the planetary fortress, which is bound to fall, and it's exactly what happens. I think that's the turning point in this game, and we have a smiley face from Turuk. Good race.
Good race.
See ya out of the swarm.
Yeah, there we go.
What a manner move.
Yeah. That was a good game from Tefel.
Yeah,
I really like what he did.
It's you know, for these of you who have been complaining, oh, Zerg is so overpowered, you cannot win against the Zerg. People have been winning against the Zerg constantly. It's just the endgame Zerg had a little bit of a favor in Wings of Liberty. Now they have removed the upgrades from the infested terrains, so they don't scale into the late game, and also they have made the fungal as a projectile. So I think that right now all players seem to be concerned on the fact that Zerg is where it should be in Wings of Liberty.
No comment. Right, so
yeah,
I'm just gonna...
don't mind me babbling.
So Kerr fight against Pal. I'm gonna check if this game already started.
Yeah.
And it seems that the players are waiting for the casters.
Yeah.
That's great.
So did you join the game? No, you didn't.
No, I have not.
Okay, allow us to be back in a second, guys. We'll be back surely with the second semi-final. I hope you're enjoying this as much as we are. See you later.